v.h.s.x? What do you mean?
Welcome back, everybody, to another match review for CrowVader. If you'd like to submit your own match for a match review, go ahead and check the description. Let's quickly talk about the build. So far we have Corrupt, Jolt, Save the Best for Last, Enduring, Wallet, and Philly. Not bad at all. Now, the thing is that I will say is you probably want to swap out Save the Best for Last. That is the one glaring perk that I figure you'll get the least amount of value from. And from watching the gameplay, you're actually going to see how you don't really get a lot of value from Save the Best. As I've said in many videos and stuff like that, for Ghostface, that Save the Best is probably one of the weaker perks to run on Ghostface because of the fact that you do end up one-shotting a lot of players, a lot of survivors, I mean, so you're not really going to build stacks as quickly. I understand he's an M1 killer, but keep in mind that your main power is to one-shot a lot of the survivors. So it does mean that your chases will be a lot faster if you are able to get that out of the way. Now, with a build like this, Enduring and Jolt are fine choices, and the add-ons are also pretty good as well. So I wouldn't really say anything about that per se. But Save is definitely going to, definitely can be swapped out for anything else. Now, from what I can tell here, it seems like you got the mark pretty good, like pretty much 99. That's a very good start. Obviously, the fact would be that you pretty much know where the survivor is. Now, I would advise not really going to main at all. It's definitely one of the toughest areas for an M1 killer, especially on the swamp. I would just cut the map in half and ignore it. Good going after Ada. You get the down, which is pretty good. You got Jolt on the gen she was working on. You were able to pick up and place next to the generator, so that's really good. Overall, a great start. So from here, it seems like you're making your way toward the main building, which, as I've said before, like the area that you see, like when you're gonna walk past it, this area that you're walking through and the other area, they can be very difficult to really be able to get a maneuver around. Now, one of the big things I'm seeing here is that you're not 99ing the Ada for when she gets healed. So, one thing I will say, if you had let go of the stock button just a little bit, a little bit sooner, you would have been able to 99 Ada. So if she does get healed, it won't really matter, right? Like, because you'll just be one shot anyway. Now, we're gonna continue on. We're gonna see what the vibes are. So you see where at least 2 survivors were because you were just stalking them, and then you decided to turn around and look at main building. But you know where 2 survivors are because they were by the shack. But then you went to stalk Jonah, and then the gen actually flew over there. So you might have been able to actually stop that gen. Making your way over there, you probably could have downed Ada, maybe damaged that gen, and then proceeded to apply pressure that way. You do get revealed. That's fine. And you're going around the shack. You find Ada. Good. Go after Ada. That's good. Good so far. They're trying to go for a body block. Of course they are. Which you probably could have continued to follow them through. So there's about 2 things you could have done here. One, you could have either turned to that wall and leaned off the wall, stalked up Vittorio and downed him. Because if you were listening to Ada, she was completely silent, probably with off the record. Now, if you see a survivor deliberately run into you, I would be a little bit more patient, because it does mean they might try to bait a dead hard. Now, you have your power charged. You probably would have been able to stalk the Vittorio a lot sooner, and they've actually been able to eliminate him from body blocking because you did have a good amount of stock on him. So I would have recommended to either focus on getting Vittorio on the ground and then going after the Ada, but she did also have off the record, or you just tried to hit Ada off of hook, or at least tried to kind of follow them off of hook in order to be able to get the endurance off is ideally what you want. Now here I get it, you're not trying to get blinded or whatever have you, but you're you're kind of wasting extra time because you have to kind of make that decision, if you're going to go play the pallet or if you're going to just break it. So in this situation, you could have easily maybe either played it or waited it out either way. But kind of standing there to not get blinded really is you're just kind of wasting precious time, especially because of the fact that they're just like, you know, breaking the pallet. They just get a free blind regardless. You can't really avoid that unless you're actively gonna play the pallet. So going back to main, do not recommend usually. Because it seems like this clown has sprint burst, I believe, but as you're gonna see here, look at how like how many rotations she can make off of main building alone. Because you can see, look, she made a full rotation, made it to a free pallet. Now you're forced into a situation. Look at that. Now she drops down. What does she do now? And then she just runs into you like a bozo. But keep in mind, like, you know, as I've said, I just don't advise defending main. Because you just saw here, like, they made a ton of distance for free. This one does fumble and actually, oh no, he was baiting the DS, which is fine. You're doing the same thing again where you're trying to, like, not get blinded. I mean, like I've said, it doesn't really matter because they're still going to be able to run away. Now there's another person here. That's fine. I'm also going to point out you're not getting any value from Save the Best for Last, and I can't blame you for that. It's mainly because of the fact that it just isn't a great perk on Ghostface, because of the fact you can one-shot people, and you have other options that really don't really benefit you with Save the Best. It's just not that great. Because keep in mind that if a survivor takes one hit to down in the first place, like, having a faster swing may not really provide much of an advantage compared to, you know, maybe more slowdown or maybe something else. Now that's good. You were able to 99 the Nancy, but now you're like starting to go into that direction, leaving the area where you have the most amount of pressure, because you're actually down to 2 gens and you don't have anyone out of the game yet. So you're actually going after Nancy, who has never been hooked, only been hit like once, which is fine. Here, oh man, here's something that I really want to recommend to you actually. I usually try to do this personally, because like I know that people try to like look up with the camera to bait people to use a dead hard, but if like you can try using like the crouch tech, where you like kind of spam crouch really fast so it can look like you're kind of like moving, because when Ghostface swings, he goes from above, like, so he goes like for an overhead kind of, and if you crouch, it may look like as if you're swinging. So I would recommend trying that out, because if you slowly look up in the air, it may not really catch anybody. But if you're like quickly doing a jolt, like, you might look like the animation's just snappy enough where it might look more believable, in order to bait out a dead hard. Now you're getting some pretty good stalking, which is fine, but you're losing a lot of pressure, because not only did you not, you know, eliminated somebody out of the game at the 3 to 2 gen mark, but also you would also like been looking for other survivors that probably don't have any hook states. So now you're trying to go for Jonah, but Jonah doesn't have hook states either, so you're not really getting any, like, you're also overextending now, because the gen that has the most progress or has progress are back there. You are getting Jolt, which is good, but I would have saved him for later, to focus on, say, Vittorio or Ada, because those two have been hooked more than Jonah and Nancy have. So you're actually, you know, taking more time out for survivors that don't have any value in terms of pressure, because now look, now you're chasing Nancy, but they also don't have a hook. So even though you're getting Jolt, which is fine, but say you didn't have Jolt, right? You would end up just chasing people that are not getting somebody out of the game, because you're at 1 gen and no one is gone. So I would have recommended going after Ada from the very start, if not, or just like try to go after or kind of split between the two, going after Vittorio and Ada, like back and forth, kind of rotating them so that we can get one person a lot closer to getting out of the game than not, because as much as it is frowned upon to pursue the same target after unhooking, it is the main way to gain some pressure, especially with a character like Ghostface that doesn't have a chase power. So, you know, if we were using, you know, a character with a chase power, such as me, you know, like a more S tier character like Wesker or something, you can get away with some of this stuff. Now here's a good situation, I guess. In the you were able to at least 99 Vittorio. Now you're going after Nancy again. Like I've said before, she doesn't provide any pressure. So I would have just left her to her own devices, because now and gone after Ada. Yep. You literally need to get Ada out of the game in order to at least get 1 kill out of it, which you need to. Okay, I'm kind of observing the mind games here, but the spinning is a little bit excessive, I would have to say, because keep in mind that it's still a red stain, and keep in mind that you did all that spinning and stuff just to end up getting just getting 1 M1. So and I would have honestly just marked Vittorio here, actually, because I think what's happening here is that you're not you haven't gotten value from Save the Best, so you find yourself trying to ignore Vittorio, but Vittorio is one of the main people that have been hooked before, and because of that, now you're downing the this is a big important thing I want to point out. You're overextending all the way over there to get just to get 1 M1 on the Jonah, while there's 3 survivors behind you that can just do the gen, and then they get picked up. The other one got fully healed with adrenaline, and then you find yourself out of the pressure here. Like, you kind of overextended there. Like, that was like really not a good idea. You had Vittorio in front of you, 99, who's been hooked before, who's closer to death hook than anybody else was, and you walked away from them. I'm assuming it was because of Save the Best, and that's another reason why I'm going to tell you once again, spoiler alert, take off Save the Best for last, because it just cost you a whole kill because of that. You ignored Vittorio, even though he was the one that was on death hook just now, and then Ada also ended up just getting out for free, because you were overdoing it with the mind games on Shaq. You have to keep it more simple, man. You're gonna overdo it with the mind games and stuff like that, especially with the spin move like that. It's too much, and you slow down too. So let's go ahead and jump right into some takeaways. But first, I'll take a look at the builds out of curiosity, just to see what the vibes are. But we'll jump right into the takeaways in a second. Overall, not built yet to be expected. Nothing too crazy. I don't think the perks are really the main issue. It really had to do with just a lot of splitting the pressure. So let's just jump right into the takeaways. So the first thing I'm going to tell you to do is to update your build. You're going to need to take off Save the Best for last. It's one of the weaker perks for Ghostface, which is ironic because he is an M1 killer, but he's not a character that really benefits from having a faster swing, because in most cases you're going to only have to swing once. And this is why I've been trying to recommend for you guys who are playing Ghostface is to focus on either slowdown or chase perks, like stuff like that really benefit, because this is the one M1 killer that does have a one-shot. Other M1s are like Trapper and Freddy and Pig and Doctor, yada yada yada. Like, they don't have the one-shots, but guess who do? Myers and also Ghostface, but Ghostface to an even stronger extent. I would say he's one of the better ones that have the one-shot ability, and it's something that you really want to focus on to save your time as Ghostface, because keep in mind that you are a very slow-moving character. You obviously can't traverse, but you can still, like, if you can catch people in your range, you're gonna one-shot them because you have 99 them on stock, or you have them injured already, and because they're injured, you're more scary in that sense, because they can't hear you. Maybe they didn't even see you, and they're one shot. They're like, oh no, and then that's where the fear kicks in, and that's something that I highly recommend removing. Is Save the Best for last. Is so unbelievably important to remove that perk, because it's not for this character. If you want to use them on Pig, Freddy, Trapper, Doctor, other characters probably could get more value, but because they don't have that one shot, and you're gonna see, you even saw throughout the whole gameplay, there was no value from it because of the fact that it was all just like either they all got one-shotted or it was only swinged at like once, and then you ended up leaving the area or whatever have you. So that was the first takeaway. The second takeaway is going to be understanding where the pressure is in the match. There was instances in the match where you had walked away from like pressure that was on the table. So for example, like you got a hook at 5 gens, you were right next to a gen that had the most progress, and possibly the Shaq gen. you had went all the way back to where main was and then tried stalking, and then the two people, the savior and the person that got hooked, ran all the way to Shack, and you didn't go after either one of them. So you left you left the pressure on the table. So it then didn't allow you to even get a good start because you had gotten the first down very quickly, which was good. But then you didn't capitalize. And then you saw where two survivors were. So even if you didn't want to go after Ada, you saw where the Vittorio was. You didn't even go after him either. And then that probably has to do with save the best because it's the obsession. So I don't want to hit him, yada, yada, yada. But, you know, if you didn't have the perk, it wouldn't be a problem. Ultimately, you saw where two survivors were. You had stopped and started stalking somebody on main again. Now, as I've said before, when you're playing on that map, if you ever do, I would avoid going to main building. Because you just that loop is way too strong. Like you as an M1 killer especially, it's just way too difficult to be trying to go around that thing. That main building has a very long wall and has two good windows on it, and you can just keep rotating, and then it connects to a pallet. It's not worth the effort to even go there. Now, what I would swap out save the best for, probably brutal strength. I'm gonna have to probably throw that in there from the first takeaway. Just swap it out, probably throw in brutal. For the second takeaway, understand where your pressure is. Okay. I'm repeating it, but I just want to, because I'm doing this off the dome. We're doing freestyle. We don't got no script. We're just we're freestyling. Okay, so for the second takeaway, there was pressure. Understanding where the pressure was. There was another point, there's other parts in the match where you had Vittorio 99. You just didn't down him. He was death hook. You could have probably had at least 2 kills. And it would have been a little bit better. And you maybe could have scraped the third one, and it would have been a win. But the main thing was Vittorio was 99. You didn't down him. He was 99 in front of your face. You didn't down him. Ada didn't go after her either. She got away. And then because you had and then also you had a Gen 99 behind you. You knocked down somebody with Jolt. That was your perfect opportunity to hook next to that generator and defend it because you're down to 1 gen, and you ran away from the gen to go hit Jonah once. He wasn't one shot. He was fully healthy, and you ran off to go hit him. Think about it this way: if you had him 99 and he was next to that gen again, you could have popped the 99, downed him, and that would have been an extra hit with Jolt. You would have had 2 people on the ground. And it's all it's one of those things that with because you have to kind of think about it this way: like you're getting a stack of save, but you're losing the entire match for it. So you don't want to throw the game for perk value. It's not worth it. It's better to have no perks and win the game than have used your perks but still lost. In that sense, I guess. The third thing I'll mention is that ultimately, you want to work on your Shack mind games. Using a spin around is wasting a lot of time and distance. You're doing a little too much, which is not to be what's the word for it? Not to roast or anything like that, but you just gotta keep it simple, man. Like just a simple moonwalk, look in one way, walk backwards. That's a lot smoother and easier. And just remember that where you're looking is the light, so you can use that to show the light, try to bait them to vault, and try to get them to go into the direction you want them to go to. Because I think the best way to play the Shack is to try to get them to drop pallet, and then from there try to get them to make a bad vault. So, which is probably in itself its own video, more than likely its own video to discuss that, the intricacies of Shack. But I would just say, for anybody who is watching, to just keep the Shack mind game a little more simplistic. You don't have to do a spin around because ultimately you're doing a lot of movement for something that could be done easily with with just a simple moonwalk or something, which ultimately I think will end up wasting distance because you're walking away from the wall. Which makes you lose a little bit of distance because you have to walk away from the wall instead of hugging the wall, which is its own, thing as well. But we can cover that in a different video potentially. Leave that in the comments if you're up to this point in the video and you want to see a Shack guide. But either way, I would say just keep the mind games more simplistic. Definitely keep in mind where your pressure is, and that's ultimately gonna get you more wins, and it's gonna really make you play a lot better, because you'll know, you just got to keep in the back of your mind who's been hooked and where is the pressure. Like, do I have the gym with the most progress with the hook next to me? I'm defending it. Like, it's stuff like that. With that being said, thank you all for watching. If you'd like to submit a match review, join the Discord in the description. Upload your video unlisted, and then also submit that in the Discord channel that says coaching, so that I can get to the video, and then be able to release a video like this for you guys, so everyone can go ahead and learn and get better as well. Become a member, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one.